We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
We were just about to walk in. Interestingly enough, they waited to pull the plug on this right as the studio audience was about to walk in. It wasn't like this morning or last night. They waited for everyone to come into work today, you know. They didn't tell us what had happened. They just said that the show was canceled. Initially, my concern was, you know, I hope everyone's okay, no one got injured. As they told us the show was being canceled, at the same time online, they announced that it was indefinitely, which we can probably assume is forever, taken off the air because of certain comments that were made, which I was not aware of, and then I went to go look to see what those comments were, and they didn't really seem to justify, you know, the means. You know, it seemed to be a bit extreme.
Now is the time to get together. Now is the time to find people that are just like you, who feel the same, and join with them and drag them along tomorrow, 4:30, right here. Be in protest, standing with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, speak
and go after anybody that is opposing them.
You hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if it is, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, a free man, has a right to say what he believes, not to hurt other people, but to express his view.
Basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid of society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation.
It ain't illegal yet, but they working on it.
we're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate in the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative.
You know, it's very hard to fight the deception, the lies, the starved children, the pictures of starved children who turn out to have cerebral palsy or other congenital diseases that leave them emaciated. And Israel is, of course, accused of starving children, pretty much the way that in the Middle Ages Jews were accused of killing Christian children for their blood. So, you know, what do you do against the lie that circles the earth 10 times before the truth has a chance to emerge? You have to shorten the war as speedily as possible. And frankly, we also have to do something about the algorithms and the social networks. This is a big challenge. I don't want to dismiss it.
TikTok's new hate speech manager is ex-Israeli Forces instructor Erica Mindel. Her role will include focusing on moderating anti-Semitic content. Mindel previously served as an Armored Corps instructor for the Israeli Forces, who are currently waging a genocidal war on Palestine's Gaza. The hire comes after a high-level convening last year led by the Anti-Defamation League, a Jewish organization criticized for smearing pro-Palestinian advocacy as anti-Semitism. Mindel also worked closely with Deborah Lipstadt, a former U.S. ambassador whose job was to monitor and combat what the U.S. deemed anti-Semitism. Lipstadt is an avid supporter of Israel and is known for equating criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. Mindel's appointment has sparked intense backlash, with concerns that pro-Palestinian TikTokers will be silenced under her watch.
You've got all these conspiracy theorists online going on and on about how, you know, if you try and say anything, if you try and do anything against Jews, they're going to come after you. They're going to come after you and they're going to destroy you and take away your business, and therefore you have to be really, really scared. And it's kind of starting to become true. And I love that. I love it. I find it absolutely amazing.
If your Texas house was destroyed by Hurricane Harvey, you can get emergency funds unless you support the boycott of Israel. I'm not joking. 21 U.S. states have passed similar laws, which ban state funds going to people or businesses who choose to boycott Israel, a country which a recent UN report has labeled an apartheid regime. But America was born on boycotting. Remember Britain? Taxes? Tea? Ring a bell? And now, survivors in Dixon, Texas, filing for emergency funds, have to sign a contract stating the applicant does not boycott Israel and will not boycott Israel during the term of this agreement. The state government is plainly telling its citizens that either they get to keep their right to boycott or they can get help rebuilding their homes. What kind of choice is that? Strong-arming folks who have just suffered a disaster, lost everything, into signing away their constitutional rights for the term of this agreement, which is what? Forever? And it doesn't stop there. A church in Kansas recently urged its members not to buy products from companies which profit from Israel's illegal occupation of Palestine. A math teacher who's a member of this Mennonite church has since been barred from working as a state contractor after she refused to say that she wasn't boycotting Israel. How can a government punish a people for what amounts to a thought crime? Imagine civil rights proponents in the 60s being told, you either buy cookies from the KKK or you don't get electricity. Or women in America's suffrage movement being granted the right to vote, as long as they don't push for equal pay. Remember these folks? They lived in a senior citizen home in Dixon. If they were that Mennonite church collectively boycotting Israel, would the government just leave them to drown? Sorry, y'alls know the rules. You buy from Israel or else. And let's get something straight. It should not be illegal to boycott Israel. It isn't anti-American and it isn't anti-Semitic. It's an individual's choice which the free and fair government of America should keep out of. Because without boycotting, where would America be?
Aaron Cohen, Gideon AI trailer. Let's play it very quickly.
Gideon is the first real-time AI system built to detect threats online before they become attacks. Anonymous networks flagging behavior, predicting danger. We don't get a second chance. Let's not miss the next one.
15 seconds, Aaron. You're talking about stopping mass shootings, attacks in Boulder before they start.
Trace, I'm building the first AI-driven threat prediction platform for law enforcement. They're flying blind right now. I've got an elite team of engineers from Palantir. I've got law enforcement agencies lined up. 76% of these mass attackers posted some type of grievance online. This is America's early warning detection system. If you're a chief out there, reach out to me and get on my pilot. And if you're a VC, I'm about to open my seed round. Partner with me and let's make America safe again and get cops the tools.
Hey, it's Ray here from BitChute. And I just saw this article from The Hill where White House advisor Peter Navarro wants Elon Musk to kick off all anonymous users from X. He's saying that anonymous usage is harmful, and this is the same nonsense that we've heard from other government officials. But make no mistake, this isn't about making things safer. It's about control. Taking away anonymous usage gives governments and big corporations crazy power to surveil, bully, and silence people. And without the ability to use accounts anonymously, the conversations that keep society healthy don't happen. Whistleblowers go quiet. People who've been abused can't speak up. And those brave enough to call out injustice get shut down. Navarro should know the Federalist Papers were written under pseudonyms. Benjamin Franklin used pseudonyms to speak truth to power. Your right to use the internet anonymously is not some threat. It's crucial to everyone's freedom. Don't let any government or anyone tell you otherwise.
Think! It ain't illegal yet. But they working on it.